If you are an aspiring videographer, especially early on, the hardest thing to do is to figure out where to spend your money. I'm here to show you the 5 things that I think are the best things I've bought and the 5 things that I think you should absolutely invest good money in and buy right the first time. Now, the first thing is to buy a great tripod. A tripod is one of those things that it kind of hurts to spend a lot of money on, but after using a bunch of the cheaper tripods from Amazon to buying some used ones on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, I finally invested in a really nice tripod. Instantly, you'll understand why they cost more, and you just feel the quality when you're using them. Now, the 2 tripods that I own and the ones that I use all the time is the Peak Design travel tripod, and this is the aluminum version. I really didn't see any purpose in purchasing the carbon fiber version. I'm sure that it's probably a little bit lighter and probably a little bit less cumbersome, I guess, but this thing is so perfect. It fits in my bag, it fits on the side of my bag. If I need to carry it, it's not a big issue. But this one is amazing for those days when you're just like out and about and you need to go. The next one that I bought is this big Manfrotto. I got this one, and it's the MVH5028H head on it. This head actually comes off fairly easily, so if you want to put it on a monopod or a slider or anything like that, you absolutely can. The second thing that you absolutely should invest in and purchase right the first time is lighting. And specifically for me, and the one that I recommend for most videographers, is these Nanlite Pavotubes. These are the 30Cs. I cannot tell you how much of a great investment these things have been. I use these all the time. They're so convenient. The battery life is great on them. You can fit them into a lot of places. I do a lot of work for like restaurants and stuff like that. Kitchens, if you've ever been in one, they are not very set up for lighting. You can't, they're very tight usually. It's very busy. With these, I can usually just like throw these on top of the shelves or something, or put it on the table, and you get good lighting, at least better lighting than you would just using the kitchen lighting. These are worth the investment. If you can't right away, there are other options. I think Godox makes some that are a little bit cheaper, but they do the same exact thing. But I wouldn't skimp on lighting. Absolutely buy nice lights in the beginning because it will change your videography. The next thing seems kind of redundant and seems kind of straightforward, but as someone who has suffered from gear acquisition syndrome over the past 6 years, I've changed systems so many times because I always just bought a camera that was good enough, that did certain things that I wanted it to do and didn't do other things, and I always tried to make do. Finally, I saved up my money and went ahead and bought the Sony FX3. I'm telling you right now, this has absolutely changed my whole mentality towards gear because this camera is the perfect camera for what I do. This camera is so versatile that I've literally never been in a situation that I can't get amazing footage out of this thing. So investing in the camera that you want as soon as you can, I think is actually worth it. I know a lot of people say gear doesn't matter. It doesn't, but it's nice to have a piece of gear that you know you're going to keep for years and years to come, as opposed to like a stepping stone to get to the next camera body or the next upgrade. You buy right the first time, you're gonna save yourself a lot of money, I promise you that. Now, this next thing is a personal preference, but I genuinely think that 99% of videographers can get by with just this one lens, and that is a nice 24-70 f2.8. And I specifically got the Sigma because it was a perfect midway point between like the G Master and like a Tamron 28-75. It's not quite as heavy as the original G Master was, and it's not quite as cheap feeling as the Tamron, even though that I love that lens, don't get me wrong, that lens is amazing. This Sigma 24-70 is the perfect one for my everyday driver. This thing has served me very well, and it's absolutely worth the investment. You can be done for years. Some people, yeah, they want to get into the primes, but when you're a videographer, and I'm talking about being a videographer, not a filmmaker, not anything else, I'm talking about being a freelance videographer that's making money, this will get you by on 99% of your jobs. You can get so many things done so much faster having a 24-70 versus having to change out primes all the time. And the last thing that I think you absolutely should invest in and buy right the first time is good audio equipment. What I use, I have two different systems that I use. One is the Rode Videomic Pro Plus. And as you can see, I spent a pretty penny on this a few years ago and I still have it. There's a reason for that, because this microphone is great, especially if you just want something to throw on top of your camera, or you can even boom it up somewhere. Having the feature of having this turn on with the camera and turn off with the camera is an absolute lifesaver, because I used to have the original Pro. I can't tell you how many times I left that thing on by accident. The next thing that I use all the time is a wireless lav system. I am using the Rode Videomic Go 2, the wireless Go 2s. Investing in good audio is an absolute must. Buy right the first time. Don't cheap out on audio, specifically audio. Don't cheap out on that. Bad audio will deter a viewer right away for your clients, so you don't want that. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the 5 things that I absolutely think are the best things that I've bought over the past 6 years, and I think you should invest in those upfront, as opposed to spending money and wasting money on all this cheaper stuff that you're inevitably going to throw away, that you're just not going to use because it's not a pleasant experience using it. I know it's difficult. I know sometimes it's hard. You just want all the gear right away. And in some cases, sure, you can cheap out for a little bit of time. If you're going to cheap out, only buy it once and then buy the nice one next. Don't buy like cheap, and then slowly step up. Just buy a cheap one to get you by, and then buy a nice thing right after that. Save up your money, be patient. This is not easy. It's not a quick overnight success, so it takes a long time. It takes a while to build up your gear, but if you buy right, it's so much easier and it's so much less stressful on site when you're actually doing these things. If you have any questions about gear, or you'd like to give me your opinion on what's the best thing that you've bought in the past couple of years, please leave a comment down below. I'm here to answer any questions for anybody, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.